Men.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you to the best night of your life. And that is because NTV Men is on air. My name is Peter Igaga. Now, tonight we are going to be talking about a very serious topic, which is affecting a lot of men. But it would not be complete if we did not have a very special woman in the house. The topic for tonight is nothing other than men living debt-free. Now, the question that we need to ask ourselves is, how do men get into debt that ends up swallowing them? Is it because they are biting off more than they can chew? Or is it simply because they're just being irresponsible, as some people seem to think, like me? Now, very interesting facts. 70% of Ugandans are actually living beyond their means, which means they are financing their lifestyles on debt. And slightly over 50% of Ugandans are actually living under debt that's consuming them. Now, somebody somewhere, I'll not say who, mentioned that, those are very scary statistics. We should also talk about the fact that the economy is growing. Now, when an economy is growing, what does it mean? It means the cost of living does go through the roof. However, for those who know, they can be able to handle themselves. So tonight, we have a very special lady in the house. She's none other than Cindy Sanyu. In person. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
Cindy, looking lovely, as
Thank
always,
you.
and that's your standard operating procedure. But before we get to you, I want to go to, there's a guy who calls himself the only Jaluo.
Okay.
Now, Jaluo, the reason why I want to start with you is there's a certain community called the Luo community that's well known to be very showy about the way they live, very outwardly flamboyant actually is the word, and will do whatever it takes to look that way. Is that a reason why very many men are in debt? Is it because many men are living beyond their means in an effort to literally be peacocks and show off?
I didn't get the correlation of the Luo community and what?
And flamboyance.
No, we are flamboyant because
And
it's
debt.
just part and parcel of who we are.
Yeah.
And we can afford, it. It is not that we don't live a lie.
Yeah.
But
You're not like Basoga.
you're not like Basoga because.
You haven't added, and do I say?
And do I say? You're the one that started that. You mentioned Luo, so it's. I can also say that we're not like the Basoga. We live in between our means, and yes, if you are flamboyant, we are flamboyant. But I'll tell you the reason why. I'm sorry if I pissed off some Basoga people somewhere.
Yeah, you
But
pissed
you
off
started
one
it.
over here.
No, you started. But you started it. But one of the reasons why, so many Ugandan men find themselves in this predicament is that we live this ideal type of life where we want to impress everyone. I'll give an example. Your regular Ugandan guy earns 1 million. He lives in Buyo Gerere. He has a kid in an international school, and the school is in NTV. And he lives in a 2-bedroomed house. And at the same time, he drives what?
A German car.
A German car. I'm not saying it's a Musoga. Or a Subaru. So I think your typical Ugandan guy lives beyond his means, and it's one of the reasons why they find themselves in this situation.
But can we say that there are hidden pressures on men to be seen in a certain light?
No, we bring these pressures on ourselves, my guy.
Colin,
We bring these pressures on ourselves.
are they hidden? Because you see...
Peter, I will hurt you.
No. And I'll tell you why. Springboarding off last week, and you say men are supposed to literally, if they don't have money, they should not date and all those things. So they're supposed to paint this picture that they are providers, that they have money, they're able to do that. Could that be one of the reasons why men are literally being burdened by debt?
So, I think that when people look at you,
Me?
yeah, they see you as the moderator of this show. And when they see you as the moderator, they think that you have always been well put together. What did you do?
I'm beginning to get worried, but let's focus on Ugandan men and not me.
But
Yeah,
Peter
we
has
can,
said
man.
on this show many times, when Peter's life started and became hectic, he was 19, he didn't have a job, and all of a sudden his life changed and he had to take a lot care of a lot of responsibilities. Am I right?
You're right.
It was a long time ago. It was 27 years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of things changed for you then. It is reasonable to expect that a lot of people end up in situations where they have more responsibility than they can currently bear. Whether it is black tax, taking care of siblings, educating family. As we age and we mature, our parents get sick, we need to take care of them, we have hospital bills, right? And I think that as you look at that, so there is the backward-looking process, which is what the black tax is and looking after family and responsibilities. But there's the forward-looking things that we want to take care of. You have a child, you want them to go to some type of school, which then allows them the best chances in life. Many people, because we live in the world we live in, think that those chances are possible in international schools. And so you start putting the child in international school, which is what he was saying. But once you do those things, they are what you call attendant costs. There is the shuttle, there is the Subaru, or some type of transport.
The trips.
Because of the nature of how we live, you find that the costs that are attendant to these lifestyles and aspirations combine the past, taking care of things in your past, and investing and preparing for things in your future. Right?
Yeah.
Very few people in our economy are able to take care of those two things. The easiest way to bridge those two gaps is debt, right? So you borrow from Peter, you pay Jaluo, you borrow from Chris, you pay this, so that it's just a life cycle of juggling and paying off debt. Sometimes you don't pay off the debts and they put you in prison, but that's a different thing. The other thing around this is, think about you're in Kampala, you have a chance to date the king herself, Cinderella baby. You have a chance. You're not dating her. You have
A chance.
a chance. Peter,
And all a man
I
needs is a
cannot
chance.
tell you the things I'll do for
A
a
chance.
chance.
Yes.
And sometimes a chance is all you need.
Yeah.
For a chance, you will do anything. You will sell your inheritance. You will sell the family land. Bija byewaka. Do you know what bija is?
Yes.
Bija is the bones and the remains
Yes.
of your ancestors.
Yes.
You sell the land, you take the bija, you move them to Mawokota. And I think we don't talk about this enough. Because sometimes the right woman can change your life.
Yeah.
She can change your destiny. Right? You're here, all of you look like this guy. You have a chance to marry a brown-skinned girl called Milka, and you know that all your children will be light-skinned from here until Abraham. We underestimate when a girl, because when he sees the girl, he says, this girl is beautiful. But he then sees everything that follows on from that. And you say, what would I do to achieve that? And so what is a little debt when it's compared to the chance of changing all of our legacies?
Yeah.
And I think that when you think about things like that, then it's possible to understand how a guy can say, let me borrow all this money on this deal, on this one plan, on this one promise.
Yeah.
And I think that when we start to situate ourselves like that, then we start to understand how we got here,
Yeah.
right? For a chance.
To date Cinderella.
And
Like somebody like.
I mean,
not her, but in the class.
no, somebody like
I see what you're saying.
No,
Somebody
I'll
really
tell you what,
like- yeah.
Cindy. Now, before we went on air, we had a brief chat, and what Colin has spoken is directly into that.
It's so deep. Like, I didn't think about it the way you explained it. Like, that is so deep.
But it's worrying.
Yeah.
It's just worrying, you know. And yes, I mean,
I get it, but I feel like we
Inside
cannot.
the
We cannot arrive where we're going if we do not deal with just, I feel like saying rewind,
Yeah.
and we get back to the basics of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Like of mindset, because if you say somebody will borrow to get a woman they cannot afford, or a life that they cannot afford, it's because mentally you have defined that is how success looks like. But
perfect,
sometimes success is not that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not getting Cindy. You
Yes.
understand? Sometimes it's getting a ghetto chick who has no money but she has brains and she's very pretty.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's going into a different world to get what you need at that moment, while dreaming towards what you're going to get tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel that mindset of TV and movies have painted a picture of how success looks like.
Yeah.
That ends up ruining a lot of us, and saying, for me to be successful, I need to get a brown skinned girl. You know, or if it doesn't look like that, then I'm not successful.
Interesting. Can we then say that it's got something to do with our backgrounds? Because we come from a society where we have been deprived so much,
Yes.
so that we have set the ceiling just very, very low.
That's true.
And we say, look, the moment I achieve this, that's fine. Then as age starts catching up with us, we say, you know what? I cannot work towards this. Let me just borrow.
Or let me fake it.
Fake it until I make
you
it.
know, and you
Until
know,
I make it.
it alludes to what you are saying, a pretentious lifestyle. You have this guy who wants to live a billionaire's life on a border budget. You understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was such a pretentious people. Like, you know, you cannot date Cindy.
Yeah.
But
No.
Or maybe you cannot date her now. You understand?
No,
According
no,
to your
no, you know,
situation
like, yes.
now. It cannot happen. Does
But if
not
you
mean
can't
there's
date
no
her
hope
now,
for
how are you
you.
going to date her in 10 years when the man is just like, gumite?
No. But the community we are living in is that this individual wants to date Cindy.
Now, yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
With a border budget. You
No,
understand?
and Chris, I want you to weigh in here, and I'll
As
tell
the king of the border budget.
and I'll tell you why. Not because you're the king of the border budget, but I see a challenge. Now, first of all, there's the issue of instant gratification. Then there is also the issue of we don't believe in the future, such that I do not have, as a man, I do not have a roadmap and say, you know what, I cannot date Cindy now. I cannot get the house that I want. I can't drive the car that I want. My kids cannot go to an international school, but I'm going to work towards that. If they don't ever go to an international school, I have given them my best, okay? If I don't get Cindy, as you said, there's this ghetto chick she may not even be pretty, she may not even be smart, but she's a woman I can work with to achieve my dreams.
Yeah.
But why a ghetto chick?
And why I get to chick? Because she's
Why?
smart.
Okay,
What
you-
if she's really smart and you can work with her? But Cindy cannot stoop on your level to work with you. You understand? She can work with you. But that ghetto chick will go anywhere with you. You know, she'll go anywhere.
No, I'm just asking why I get to
because of the standard
Not
where she's at is
necessarily
the
I
same
get to
as you. You know, because if you are, I hate using myself as an example. It's annoying. I wish I could use someone else. No.
Let's use Milka.
Yes, this is the brown chick, the brown chick. Because where the brown chick is, she's not at the level of struggle. She's at the level where you need to meet her where she is. And that way, you have to fake it every single day. But there's that very pretty broke chick, you know, and she's industrious. You know, she thinks, and she can go anywhere. You can say, babe, today we're going to sell cassava. She'll be like, yeah, let's go. You know, and she's okay. She won't do anything to her, and then you can build with her. You know, and get to that level where, you know, by the time you get there, she looks just like Cindy. Because, you know, we can bleach these days. You can have surgery these days. You can get any body that you want as long as you have the what?
No, she's not
as long
going
as
to
you have the
Let
money.
me tell you, I think that you have been deceived about yourself. You have been told that people can look like you, they can be like you.
I've seen it. I've seen.
But listen to me, as someone who has seen you and observed you over many years, you are one in 1 billion. You come along once in a lifetime.
He's changing
need
the
that.
topic.
I promise you need
You're
to cool down.
flipping it.
You need to cool off.
Radiated tons of water.
No. We need to get
a break.
we need to get into a break.
Guys, we're getting-
Yes, we need to get into a break. Now, we are here at Sanga Courts having a conversation about men and getting into debt. What is driving men into debt? Why are a lot of men living beyond their dreams? Is it because they do not believe in what tomorrow offers them? Or is it just that they are idiots? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
Men.
Welcome back from the break. In case you've just joined us, we are here at Sanger Courts talking about men in debt. And we are blessed to have the king of the dance hall, none other than Cindy herself.
Peter, I just want to ask something, and I want you to sort of consider it. One of the key reasons why we suffer from this thing is because the people with resources and access only value and see people who look like them, right? It's a self-selection criteria. It's a tribe.
Yeah.
It's a tribe thing, right? If you have never been on a plane, you have no business talking to a guy who has never been on a plane. And I'm using that as a bad example to sort of say, that's the reason why people need to fake it. If I can't show up in a German car, in a Mercedes, there is no chance I can make a meeting with you. And it's not a moral thing, it's a society thing.
Yeah.
We want to associate with people who look like they are like us. And I say that to explain and put part of that foundation of why people feel the need to fake it, so that then they can move from here, move here. Because if you accept them here, eventually they will take a step and land on the stage where they hope that their dreams can be made. That's all I want to say.
Now, Chris, and I need you to speak on the foundational side that Colin has talked about. Is there a lacking of a solid foundation that men literally need to have to make them better men?
Having this conversation, and we're talking about those guys, those men, they get into debt. This is what they do. And not put ourselves in the conversation, in some way, is unreal. And I think that we need to be real. My parents separated when I was 10 and a half years. And so I was raised mostly by my single mom, and there was the four of us. And so there was mostly more month at the end of the salary, more month at the end of the money. And so we had this thing of, at some point she sends you to the shops, and you go to the shopkeeper and you get stuff, and they write you in a book.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
To a point that at some point the shopkeeper says, no, you hit your limit, let's first clear the balance, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And what that did for me is that I was schooled in taking debt. But I was a child. I was not aware of it. How do I get to find this out? Is we grow older, we're building a house, our first house and all that stuff. We're really handling fine, got a good job, etc. Great place in Chira, all that. And then my brother, and I've shared this story in some of the books I've written. I'm not afraid to share it because I think this helps someone, all right? So my brother is visiting from the US, and I want to impress him. I want him to come back and see the house that I am living in. No, we're not doing so bad in Uganda. Are you seeing that? So impressing someone on the outside. But also, like most fathers, very attached to my daughter. So she was a few months old, and I did not want to move into this house. And my daughter is crawling on the floor, mud or whatever, concrete, it's not tiled.
But it has screed.
Yeah, screed or even less. I was like, no, not my daughter. So I decide and convince my wife that we should go to the bank and get a mortgage. And please note, we had roofed. We could have taken time with this project and finished it nicely. But no, because that's the wisdom most Ugandans have. You build slowly, you finish the house, over time without debt. I'm like, no. My brother is coming, we should house them, right? And my daughter will not crawl in the mud. So I go, no, you see, when you're taking debt, they're usually stupid reasons. And you see, you have 20/20 vision. When you look back, you're like, how dumb thou art. But when you're doing it, you think you're clever. Okay? Because you don't factor in when the house is against you.
Yeah.
So we take the debt and all that. I talked about that in a book I wrote called The Golden Fathering. So then, these are Obama days when there's a global financial meltdown. Guess what? 3 years later, what happened in America happens in Uganda.
2012.
Right? And then interest rates are going up. The then bank governor, Tumsime Mitabire, announces that they're increasing the interbank lending rate. You see, I got to learn this stuff, but after the fact. When they increase the interbank lending rate, what that means is that the source of money, because banks borrow to lend, all right? He increased the cost of their money. What do? They kick it down, they kick the can down the road to the customers. And I remember we had even at some point been hosted as prime clients for the bank and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Guess what? This prime client was bumped from 15% per month to 29%. That's almost double.
Whoa.
And then there was a time, so we had also invested in forex trading. Can you imagine? Greece fails to pay its debt. The pair of the euro and the dollar goes under. And then the forex trading money also goes bust. And we used to get like $2,500 per month off that. So everything looks out, and it's almost, it's not, problems go and have a meeting, right? And they just come at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? So the bank is calling you when they want you to borrow. They send a pretty girl. She speaks with an accent. She's got sheppy and things like that. Serves you coffee anytime you want as you sign the papers. When they are collecting, it's some
dude.
rough bearded guy. Hey, hello, please note that this call is being recorded for quality purposes. When are you paying the money?
This is like Jalu.
You know, weirdly, I thought the person he described.
Yeah. So anyway,
And then he said,
not to lose the point. The point is that it got to a point where it made sense to let go of the house. Because otherwise you're going to go
you
under.
let go of the house.
Yeah, so we sold it, cut our losses, made some,
paid the balance?
Yeah, paid the balance, had some money,
Started
went and
afresh.
bought a shell house somewhere, and then we started building again.
Okay.
Doing what you ought to have done in the first
Yeah,
place.
doing what we ought to have done in the first place. All right. So no
Wow.
debt on the house, etc. But guess what? 5 years later, so back then we were 250 million in debt. 5 years later, I sit across our pastor, Moses Mukisa, who's written a great book that I really recommend. It's called Straightforward Financial Growth. And he's got some of us leaders and say, okay, so everyone tell us how much debt we have. What are your assets and what's in your bank account? Guys, I kid you not, we had accumulated another 100 million in debt.
Who? You and your
You
wife?
as an individual?
Yeah. So,
Which you didn't know.
and this is the point.
Bro!
I know.
No,
I'm
no.
telling you. And this is the point that I am making. It's not a demon.
Yeah.
It's called a blueprint. You have a financial blueprint. You have a thermostat. This thing is playing in your mind. So it schooled you in debt. It schooled you in a number of these things that you may not be aware of. It's a blind spot, but it's real. So when we go to find out that that's the demon we are fighting, we then start cutting down the debt. And you can't do it without accountability, and you can't do, So
it is a painful experience.
it is, but once you know what your problems are,
You can
if
solve
you're
them.
an alcoholic, you keep away from the booze. You can't put the bottle near you and say, no, I want to drink, and then you're moving closer.
Why are you speaking like Jalu?
No, I'm just saying.
All right. Today is your day. Today is your day.
there's
Do I
something-
speak like that?
Yes, you do.
So Apostle Moses
Protect me,
in his
man.
book talks about a thermostat.
Yeah.
You see, like when you have an AC on, it has a thermostat. The thermostat is what controls the temperature in a room. You set it at 18, it will be 18 degrees. You take it higher. So what we actually find that you need to do is you need to change your thermostat. You need to grow how much money you earn. So for example, some people are very comfortable with having zero.
Yeah.
Somehow they're okay. And then there's some people who are so uncomfortable having like 5 million on them, they feel broke.
True.
Then other people feel broke at 50 million. So the question someone may be asking is, how do I then grow my thermostat? And I think there's 3 or 4 things that one can do. First of all, it's a mind thing. So you need to change
Your
your
mindset.
mindset.
Yeah.
So one of the things is increasing the number of income streams that you can have and that kind of thing. That doesn't grow by you just staying the way you are. It said
You must change.
foolishness is expecting is
Doing
doing
this.
the same thing and expecting different results. You can't do that. So you
It's
need
actually
to read up.
madness.
Madness, right? So you need to read more and more so that you grow your mind. That's the first thing. The second thing is hang with the egos, hang with people who are where you want to be. So if if you don't have the kind of money, for example, that Colin has.
Jesus!
Yes, you.
On national TV.
I'm
Yes.
just saying.
We are
right?
watching you. We are watching
No,
you.
We
You
know
have
this,
a
my
guest. You have a guest
Compliments
who's
to you.
the number one dancehall artist
No,
in the
don't
country.
worry. Let's
Self-made. She
Collins.
even changed her pronoun from the queen to the king. Like you have a literal living example.
Collins
You
is
are
trying to set
framing
me up for
all right. No, all I'm saying, Colin.
I love the way
I
you,
say
you,
you.
you
Take
You're
him
trying
in
to
good
set
graces.
me
Take
up.
him in good graces. But wait. Let me just finish this thought. So what you do then is when you find people who are ahead of you, who are making more money than you, who are doing better in life than you, make friends with them, so that they can help you. As you come closer to them, you see how to live a better life.
Yeah.
Right? With finances. Then the last thing is change the experiences you have. Like be in places or be in communities where people, say for example, are against debt. You may still struggle here and there, but because generally the community you're in does not entertain debt,
true.
You have slimmer and slimmer to the point where you have none.
Interesting. Now, Cindy is not in debt.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, when they called me, I was like, I don't know what to say because I am not in debt. I
Yes.
make sure I'm never in debt. Like,
And that
It's
is
not-
the goal there. Now, what do you do? Because at the end of the day, money, we all need to make money.
Yeah.
Now, my thinking is, and I stand to be corrected, debt is not a bad thing.
no.
That's the problem.
But managing it is. And I'll give you a simple example. Scaling up is a very important thing. There's certain things in life that you want to do that you do not have the cash right now to do. But you have to probably think through them very well.
Yes.
And I like what Chris has talked about, especially the thermostat.
Yeah.
The reality is, if you cannot handle 1 million shillings, okay, there's no way you can handle 10 million shillings.
That's true.
That's just the way it is.
That's true, yeah.
So how do I get used to money
Yeah.
so that I don't get excited and use it for the wrong reasons?
I think I'll say again, it's about mindset. Like when you say, like what he said, because he was already living with his wife, had beautiful children, that was success already. But then when his brother was coming, he said, this is not success. You understand? This is not, doesn't look like it. So I need the other picture.
Yeah.
You understand? That's what drove him to go and get the money. But already it could have been just, oh, brother, you're welcome. This is my home. This is my wife, my child. We're building a family. It's success. You understand? There are people who fail to get to that point. There are people who've just had a baby and separated. Like, we're together. That is success. But the problem is, in your mind, you feel like, this is not success. My daughter shouldn't be on the ground. Ground is nice. She gets immunity. I like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's some, what I learned about life is that there's always a version for everybody of life. Because there's somewhere in Kampala where you cannot not get a decent meal for 35,000. Then there's somewhere where you have 2K. And you can have meat and have, you understand, and you're okay. It might not be as pretty, it may not be as large and all that, but there's somewhere in Kampala where you get meat at 2K.
Yeah.
But the issue is you're not thinking it's just meat. Just I'm sitting in a prettier room, better lighting and coloring, but it's meat. But you're thinking, this is not it. I want to eat meat from there. You understand? Because your mind is telling you that. That's what makes you get
Want
the money
to
to
go
be
there,
there,
yeah.
yes. And the thing about hanging out with rich men is not about their money. It's about their body language. So when you're around them, you feel that energy of money.
Tell us, please.
You feel,
Tell us more.
you feel, I'm like Collins. When you're around them, you get a feeling of a man who's not worried about the future. That being there, it poisons you. Like the way you used to like grow up and
It's a
see
dangerous
debt.
feeling.
Yes, it poisons. It tells you that I need to make money to be comfortable. So you kind of your back straightens when you're around, because you feel the energy of money. You feel the energy of somebody who's not worried about tomorrow, my child, about that. It begins to change how you feel. Even when you sit at home, you want to feel that way. So because it affects you, you slowly begin to work towards where you need to go. Not necessarily into Nyatula and Nanging for Range Rover. You understand?
Yes.
Or me, I also do this. No, but just being in that energy changes how you feel as a person.
Yes.
You notice rich people are not worried about what they wear. They need to show off designer clothes and jewelry. No, they're not. They're wearing a decent, nice material that is comfortable. They don't feel like I need. Yeah, they don't feel like, yeah, like they don't need to have a shoe with Louis Vuitton, like a big word, Balenciaga.
Yes.
No, they don't. They wear the
Adidas.
simplest things. And when you sit there, it kind of gives you this feeling like, oh my God, it's not as complicated as I thought.
Yeah.
And it kind of takes stress away from you just from being the energy of just rich people.
To basically be in the right company.
Yes, being the right company begins to change how you think. It gets you out of the whole, I need to borrow, I need to do this. Just looking at somebody who's not worried.
Yeah.
It gives you therapy of like, wow, like.
Okay. Now we do need to get into a break. We are here at Sanga Courts having a conversation about men in debt. Are you a man outside there who is drowning in debt and doesn't know how to deal with it? Then don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. Hey, welcome back. We are in the final segment of our show talking about men and debt. Now, guys, there's good debt and there's bad debt. That is the fact. The moment you cannot service your debt, it becomes a bad debt. And I'll start with you, Jalo. What, in your opinion, is good debt?
What is good debt?
Yeah.
Debt that you can pay. It's simple as that. You know, the problem that we have, and I want to piggyback from what Cindy said, is competition, social competition. You're competing with a guy whose father stole money in the 1980s, you know? Stole money in the 1980s, and they've accumulated wealth, and he's able to spend that money. Your dad is a hustler, you understand? You're living from hand to mouth. That is the number one problem. The other problem that we have is what you keep emphasizing on. We have popularized the idea of being in debt. You hear statements like, being in debt is not a bad thing. And that somehow, to a certain degree, has made it look like, yes, we can be in debt. I've had friends who tell me, how can you just be there? You're a man and you're not in debt. The people who just take debt, you take debt to finance a wedding, which will not pay. You take a debt to, and it's popularized. I remember when I started working, I worked in an insurance company in Nairobi so many years ago, and this is in the corporate, my first job. And there were these individuals who were coming to like different spaces, and they wanted you to sign on something so that they could get you a car. Like that was my first introduction to debt. Like they wanted you to get a car on debt, and you have not started earning nothing. You understand? So we have popularized the idea of being in debt, and I think it's just it's sad.
Okay, Colin, question. Just literally piggybacking off what Jalu has said, can we then say that the difference between good debt and bad debt is that good debt earns you money and bad debt just washes it away?
No, I think that there are various natures to debt, right? So good debt means it's payable, it's within your means, it's not fleecing you. Good debt is allowing you to sort of pay off whatever your obligations are. The characteristics of bad debt obviously are, it's a poor interest rate, the repayment terms are bad, the interest rate is out of whack. And I think that there are things that you need to do in this world where you cannot use your own money.
Yeah.
The world's wealthiest people know this. The world's wealthiest people know that you use debt to build
Equity.
certain ventures, certain assets. Why should I use my money if I can come and borrow Peter's money and the money is insured, and if the venture fails, the insurance covers it, and we wrap it up in a bow and go away, right?
And that's the good debt.
That's the good debt, right? And I've always told you, Peter, about we have to stop thinking about what the average does. Because what the average person is doing, they are already doing, they are already thinking. you have to arrive with a slightly higher percentage than that, which allows the poor at the average point to sort of move up in how they think, how they analyze, and how they react to this information and these situations that you're saying. So maybe the differentials between good debt and bad debt are not, it's not a wide delta, because it's also dependent on the person. Having debt is not the problem. How you react to servicing the debt is the issue. Yeah? Debt is built on consistent behavior. That's the entire mathematics of it. I will pay this month until this debt is paid off, right? This is my interest, whatever, I will pay it until it's done. Because once you then establish that good behavior, you get good credit scores, then you can borrow more money, you can do more things, you can go anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But yeah, I think that I think it's the condition, which is where the debt is from, and the man, which is the behavior, right?
Yeah.
So that the man's behavior combines together with the condition to make the debt good or bad.
Yeah.
Because the debt can be good, the terms can be fantastic, but if the man doesn't have the consistent behavior or the spirit that it requires to actualize that good debt into outcomes, then it doesn't
You're in
change.
trouble. Yeah. Okay, Chris, just again springboarding off what Chris has said, would you, because you're a financial advisor, you also, and your wife is involved in an international school. So as a man, is it okay for me to borrow money to invest in my children, such that I'm borrowing money, I'm getting into debt to take my kids to a good international school so that they can get a great education? Does that make sense? Because then I'm not going to get a physical return on it.
You should ask him, can you borrow money to invest
So-
on a woman?
We're getting there.
So I think that that's addressing the same question slightly differently.
Yeah.
You're asking whether there's good debt or bad debt, or good reasons to borrow or bad reasons to borrow. And I think that, I'm not sure if it's Mike Tyson who is quoted to have said this, but you know, everything can look like it's in check and in control until you're punched in the face.
Yeah, it was
Mike
Mike Tyson.
Tyson.
It was Mike
Mike
Tyson.
Tyson.
Everyone has a plan.
Everyone has a plan
Until they're punched in the
until they're
face.
punched in the
Okay,
face.
yeah.
That's what debt is like.
Yeah.
You have a plan. You've got it in check. Everything, all the ducks are lined up. I promise you, at that point, you think you've got it fully covered. And something just comes and hits you sideways. Some curved ball that you did not account for. All right? And
kid on
suddenly the train is off the rails. All right? So it's like if you're punching and you are lightweight, and they somehow, unfortunately, got you into the ring with a heavyweight champion of the world, of the dead, right? And you are in the red corner and then the blue corner. They are throwing punches at you. Look, at some point, when the bell goes off to say round one done and you survive the knockout,
You're like,
maybe you tell the coach, look, coach, that's not my plan. I want out. Declare the guy the winner. Let's finish.
Throw the towel then. You know.
So I honestly think that should be our attitude toward debt, right? Whatever your reasons for getting into debt, you should be working toward getting out of it.
Yeah.
All right? Because, I mean, even the Bible says that the borrower is servant to the lender.
Yeah.
So at some point...
It's a slave.
Yeah, slave to the lender.
Yeah.
At some point, you may be subjugating me, right? You're over me. But I should not continue to sponsor your being over me for all my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? There's got to be a point where you break free and you stand on your own. All right? So I from my story, I'll tell you, you really need to be working toward getting out of debt.
Yeah.
Because it gives you more options. It helps you to plan better.
Yeah.
You're able to choose where to be.
Yeah.
What, you know, it feels good to be staying in a house that has no mortgage on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it may not be as pretty as we want it to be, but there's no one knocking on the door and saying, hey, rent.
We need to. Now, I'll tell you what. Again, getting off that, and Cindy, I'd want you to weigh in here. Now, you have a very interesting story. You are debt-free. Now, we know you are
Why is that interesting?
And I'll tell you why it's interesting.
Cindy has had money for.
I'm getting there. Let me tell you why it's interesting.
I'm sorry, I'm hyperventilating.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like you're not
That's why
asking
you
the
need
right
to,
question.
you need to. I know you want to know the number, okay, but we're getting there. Listen, now the nature of your business is you guys have seasons, and because I run an agency and we do contract artists. I know sometimes it's insane money. There are seasons where the money just literally comes in. Now, usually what happens and we've seen it happen with a lot of artists, is that there's an aura of excitement. Because all of a sudden you can afford certain things that you previously could not afford.
True.
The banks that Chris was talking about come knocking, they want to give you money because they're looking at the inflows and they're like, ha 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 ha. And then all of a sudden you want to upgrade your lifestyle and all that. How have you managed to stay grounded?
I've got a habit of saving. I've got a habit of saving with people, where you have an account that you're not the only signatory. And I never use ATM cards. I found that's my weakness. When I have a network, swipe. So every time I get it, I either tear it apart or I give it to someone. So that energy of going to the bank has saved a lot of my money. If I have to go to the bank and line up and all this, it disturbs a lot. So it helps out. But just saving money, having a bit of money that doesn't come to me, that immediately goes off my check, or immediately someone comes and picks it, and it just goes. So, and I don't think about it as my money. I just think about it I dropped it on the road. I never think about it until the year is done.
Okay.
And that's when I'm like, okay, because our January, February, and March, and April, there are no events.
They're not quiet.
Yes, there are very, very few, and that is now the account that I begin to, to get into, to draw out of. And even with my partner, we got the same this tradition with saving money, and he's even better than I am. Where I say a certain percentage of all the money that we make, no matter what, goes away from us. We look at it in December. And that is when now we begin to use that. And by the time it's done, we are in July, and now the events are coming up, and we keep on going, and that has really helped a lot. But then the other thing of also not looking, of counting your blessings now has helped a lot, because it's when you keep looking future all the time, you fail to realize your small successes, your small things, and fail to celebrate them. I think if we celebrated what we have more, we would not look so much at ahead. And that has helped me to look at how did I do as an artist? I did amazing. Sometimes amazing is I survived.
Yes.
Sometimes amazing is I'm alive, I'm not a drug addict. All my friends are drug addicts, or all the falling off the radar. And sometimes that is success. And I want to celebrate that. So just accepting the small moments and celebrating those small things keeps me away from the big dream that we all have of I want to live a life that Rihanna lives, and focusing too much on that and looking and say, hey, we have a beautiful family. Hey, I'm healthy. And all this, and I'm still here. And that for me has been the foundation of it all. So when we were younger, like what he said, there's about the culture of debt. There were very many moments, because I didn't grow up rich at all. My mom was in the police, so police things.
Now you're rich.
Now I am. Now I am the rich man of my family. So when I was a child, mommy used, like all communities, they say, grow up and get a rich man. I said, I'm going to become the rich man of my family. I don't want to look for, someone to give me money. So as children, there's always, we're living in the barracks. There were times when, police doesn't get salary for 3 months, the government things and all that stuff. And at that time, you have to find the next most available option. You understand? You're not going to steal. You're not going to look for food in the neighborhood. You're like, what's the next most available thing? There's always free food behind some toilets. There was dodo. Greens always grow around those pit latrines. There's a very nice leafy greens and all that. And then there's always free meat. There are birds. Wow. And my brothers would go shoot the birds, and then bring them home, and we have meat. We have chicken. There was always an option of something. And our mom was like, what can we do? We don't have this. What can we do? There were Christmases. We used to celebrate our Christmases. We divide. This Christmas, 2 children get new dresses. The others celebrate the ones who got dresses. And then the next Christmas, the other 2 children. So that helped me realize it's not the end of the world. What can I do with what I have? I want to shoot a video with Sasha who charges 15 million to 30 million.
Yeah.
But what do I have? I have 4.
Yeah.
Who is the cheap producer who is very good, has a good mind, who will listen, how can we make this work? And I will look for them for months until I find them. Maybe like, I have 4 million, what can you do for me?
Yeah.
And then they'll make the magic work, make them believe in a dream of that thing. So I started looking at what is my success now, what do I have? Not what, I want that. No, I like, what do I have now? Can we work with that? What's the next most, what's the next best thing with what I have? And then we do that. I didn't go to international schools, but I went to cheap schools that had very good teachers.
Yeah.
My mom would always make sure the English teacher was good.
A good one.
Yes.
Yes.
So she'd go have a conversation and
Yes.
make sure, like, okay, that's school. I'm not paying a lot, but the English teacher is good. The math teacher was usually terrible. The science teacher barely hear what they're saying, but the
Yes.
English teacher was always really good every school I went to. So make sure that I have the English to speak to an international like Collins, who went to me and Collins will understand each other.
Yes.
When I'm in some school,
Actually,
you understand.
No,
Collins. You understand?
No.
90% good thing.
No.
No.
Colin,
that's
let's-
it. Yeah,
yes.
that's
I am under the bus, bro. You're not helping me.
But today,
Wait until we arrive near the bus.
Own it.
Yeah, so there's a version of where you are. There's always a version of success of where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily what you're looking at ahead. I think we need to look at that more than over focus on it will help us save us from debt. And me, I believe there's no good debt or bad debt. Debt is bad.
Yeah.
Debt is bad. Even when it's good, it just keeps your mind. That mindset of you have to give money
that's
to
the
someone.
Yeah.
You have money that
Working
you make
for
have to give
someone
to working for someone else for 6 months. It's
Yes.
never a good idea.
Yeah.
If there's anywhere that you can bring your mind to think, what can I do with this 200K? Is there a school? There's always a school.
Yes.
There's always a school. There's always the free school, which has a very good teacher of whatever you want your child to be. Good mathematics. Go
Yes.
and find out, is their mathematics teacher good?
Cindy,
And build from-
I love you more after
Yes.
this.
Jeez.
I love you.
Okay.
What happened?
Now I need to break this love relationship
this
because
is
we need
so
to wrap up the show.
beautiful,
Okay, so Jalu, I'll start with your
No,
party. shot.
Cindy, honestly, I've listened to you for so many years, and you expressing yourself like this is so beautiful.
Thank you.
And the mere fact that you mentioned something that I experienced growing up, being sent to the backyard to get some, what I call osuga, some leaves.
Yes.
And you'd cut them, and your mom would make the best meal
Out of that.
out of that.
Yes.
It was so beautiful. But in my parting shot, I want to talk about the culture that she alluded to, the culture of being in debt. I want to also say the same. There is no good debt or bad debt.
This is bad.
Debt is debt.
Yeah.
Get out of debt. The problem that we have is that we compare ourselves a lot, and especially in this generation. You're comparing yourself to Peter, whose dad stole money. You understand? I'm not saying that your dad stole money.
You just did.
I'm saying
If we talk,
Okay.
Then you say,
Let the man finish. Let the man finish.
and you as an individual, your dad is a hustler. You understand? So that is a main issue. If we get away from that mindset, you'll be good. There's something that I say a lot on radio, and I've said, and I got into trouble with it. I would say, learn to be broke. What I meant is learn to live in between your means. Understand? It's something that I've experienced, where there's a point where I had debt. You'd wake up, you get money from this gig, your salary comes and it goes and everything. The moment I decided that, you know what, I am not borrowing, I will live in between my means. I would sit in a taxi. I sat in a taxi, and someone would be like,
You're making it sound like it's such a bad thing.
You're Jalu, you're Jalu, and someone takes a picture with you, or someone took a picture of me sitting in front of the taxi. I remember these things. And initially I felt bad. But once I got comfortable with it, and especially guys who are in the media spaces where people will judge you, and at the tail end of it, when everything is said and done, you will be judged the most. When everything is, you cannot account to why you are broke. You understand? People will judge you the harshest. So living in between your means, and yeah, don't care. If you live in between your means, and if a woman does not understand, you leave her. Go away.
This is not the one. This is not the one.
Colin, your parting shots.
Jaluo opened this segment with, I have loved you more and more. That's how he said.
I was so impressed with Cindy today.
Right.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And then he finished with, if she cannot fit within your means, leave her.
You got a hint?
And I guess that the way we close this is
Leave her.
is acceptance, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That sometimes you want the Lindazi, but your poker is not big enough to poke the Lindazi.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But so it's the thing. So
For now, poke the kabalagala, the pancake.
as you can see,
Or don't poke.
Oh,
don't poke. Just go home and drink tea.
Yes.
So I think we've discussed a lot of things, but and Peter, we've talked a lot about self-regulation for people, right? Self-awareness, knowing where you fit, knowing what's important for you, knowing what fits within your lifestyle. We talk about this a lot, actually quite frequently on these shows. But I think that it has never been more appropriate than now. The idea that being aware of what your lifestyle needs, being aware of, and part of it is resisting peer pressure. People think, when we talk about peer pressure, we think that it's only in high schools and it's resisting smoking and drugs and teenage sex. But peer pressure continues into people's adulthood. And you still want to live like Chris. When Chris says 20 years ago I was fighting a mortgage, you think because you're 20 years younger than Chris, you think now you must have a mortgage and be in debt.
100 million days.
Because like, then you'll eventually end up like Pastor Chris, but you don't pray like him, you don't have a fasting partner.
And Pastor Chris is saying, don't do it.
And Pastor Chris is saying, but you know, and this is national news. The guys who have already enjoyed, they say, temuja. But we know that they don't want us to enjoy what they have already enjoyed.
Yes.
This is psychology, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because when you have enjoyed something and you say, guys, it's bitter.
Like King Solomon.
When I have not enjoyed it and I want 1,000 concubines, I'm just like, this King Solomon doesn't want me to enjoy the way he did. It's the thing.
Or you're going to say, I'm not like him, he misused his opportunity.
Me,
I will enjoy it different way.
When I get it, I will do the right thing.
Until your Obama comes.
Yes. So you're right that we need to be cognizant. We need to be self-aware. We need to be, resistant of peer pressure. But above all these things, I think that the way I see it then is a clear sense of purpose and direction for your life. As I always say to you, Peter, that we must stop doing things that the 90% of people are doing. If you ever find yourself doing a thing that 90% of people are doing,
There's a problem.
you're doing a problem. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with what you're doing. That's my only point on this.
All right. Chris, your parting shot.
Now, Peter, I think about ducks at this point in time.
Ducks.
Yeah,
Yes.
duck,
Quack, quack.
duck.
Oh, I thought ducks vibes.
And
DJ.
I know this guy.
Oh, no, you said ducks.
I've seen
Chris doesn't have vibes.
film about or shots on ducks swimming, underwater shots. When you look under the water, a duck is paddling so fast because it's the only way it's surviving in the water.
On top of the water, floating.
Right? Because it's not a fish. It's not made for being under the water. It can only survive on top of the water by paddling so fast. When you see that duck on top of the water, it's mostly smiling. And it feels like it's just sailing.
That's true.
Okay? And you see, when you look at many people's lives, they look like they're just sailing. Like they're having it easy in life. Wrong. Underneath, they're paddling, they are fighting for their lives. When it comes to debt, you need to be fighting with everything in you
to get out of it.
Right? More income streams, I don't know what, save, invest, something, right? Because there comes a point in time when the duck gets to the land. Have you seen a duck walking on land? It's almost lazy, it's just going like that. It's not paddling. There's no struggle. It's comfortable.
It's almost like Cindy dancing.
So I don't know. I've not been to the shop. But what I'm saying is you need to get out of the waters of debt and get ashore. Get to the land. Get to that point where there's some breathing space where you can make decisions easier. If you're not yet there, look, Uhuru is coming. Keep fighting. Get out of debt. That's what I would say. Because it's a fight. But when we win, it's better.
All right, cool. Cindy, your parting shot in one word as we wrap up.
I really love what you just said. I like it, that we don't see the struggles of these, the rich people that we all want to look like. We don't see the back wars and that. There's a lot to learn from that. There is nobody who came from, and most of the biggest stories, our biggest heroes come from a place of pain, a place of emptiness, that place where they're in a corner and they had no other choice than to fight with life until the hero that we see. So we need to look at the back end story, and there's so much to learn from it. But the success, there's very little. There's just a lot to celebrate, but nothing to learn. But it's always good to go to the backstory of these stories. But if you were to ask me now, what is my final say? I would say, don't let people define for you what success is for you. Don't decide what success is for you now, not in 10 years, because you don't know if you'll even be alive. So celebrate the small things and paint your own picture of success. Don't be successful like Jaluo. You be successful like you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what I would say. Don't copy it. No, I just use your name. Please, I'm not saying Jaluo, but yes, let's define your own success. Don't look at other people's success. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Now, that has been it from us tonight. We have had an interesting discussion about men getting out of debt. My word to you is, do not chew more than you can swallow, because otherwise it will choke you and you will die. So keep on keeping on. God bless. We'll see you next week only on your favorite show, and that is Men.